Hey, welcome to the Voices of Change show, which is for game changers. And we are today with Frank Furness, sales speaker, but social media ninja. He is just an amazing person. We've known each other for years. And Frank, it's your turn now.
Oh, thanks so much. It's great to be on the show and on the podcast. Yeah. And yeah, the world is changing. I mean, we've seen it in the last year. Everything has changed. We've all had to reinvent ourselves, reinvent our businesses. And it's been tough for a lot of people. I know for a lot of speakers, all of a sudden the work just disappeared. In fact, I had one job where they prepaid me and I had to pay them the money back. That wasn't good. But what I decided to start doing was creating online courses and moving the whole business over to Zoom. And I think what COVID has taught us is we have to recreate ourselves. For some people, it's been absolutely fantastic because they've started new businesses, found new opportunities. For myself, I've sold up in London. I bought a house right on the beach. And I just thought, if I'm going to be locked in, I'm going to have a great lifestyle. I'm going to go to the beach every day. I'm going to walk along the beach and dedicate my time to helping people change. And Christine, the way I help people change, all I can do is give them tips and ideas, mainly on social media. And as you know, I love social media. My two main platforms still are LinkedIn and YouTube. And just lately, I've had 4 podcasts as well going out. And what I'm saying to people is, for me, LinkedIn is a place to be at the moment. Most amazing place, but there's a lot you've got to do and learn about LinkedIn. The first thing is you've got to optimize your profile. Please go and take a look at my profile, Frank Furness. And in fact, if you just do a search, anyone who's listening right now, do a search for sales, technology, speaker. You'll see I own the first page of YouTube, and I have done for the last 10 years in every country in the world. Doesn't matter where you're listening to this. If you look for sales technology speaker on Google, I own that page. And there's 2 main reasons, YouTube and LinkedIn. By just optimizing both of these, you get to be on the first page of Google. So if we speak about LinkedIn, what you've got to do, Christine, is you've got to find a phrase on how you want to be found. So I first looked at sales and marketing speaker, but there was way too much competition. There was no way I could own the page. But Google suggested sales technology speaker. And that worked really, really well for me. So everything I do, every social media channel, those keywords go in. So when Google scrapes, it's finding it everywhere. So that's my first tip to everyone, is find a phrase on how people will find you. Normally, it's not on your name unless you're really famous. You know, if you're Leonardo DiCaprio, then that's great. But if you're Frank Furness, no, people don't look for that. They'll type in a phrase of what they're looking for your business.
Yeah, I'm the positive influence specialist. And
that's
it. I think you need to have these 3 keywords who really define you, define your style and your own energy.
Absolutely. And it's how people get to know you. And the other thing you've got to do with LinkedIn is you've got to post regularly. So I post at least 4 days a week, but there's also a certain way that you've got to post. So first thing you've got to do is start every post with a question. So when people see a question, that sounds interesting. Let me read further. And the first line, the question has to be in all capitals. The next thing is you've got about 1,300 characters to write your story, and people love stories. You can write things on information, all kinds of stuff, and then always finish off with a question again, because that gives people time to then go in and comment. If you don't ask a question, they're not going to know what to even say in the comment. So today I did a thing on 4 different ways of how you would use videos. And then I've added the next thing saying, how else do you use video in your business? And people have come back, I do video testimonials, I do video email. And then, of course, you've got your hashtags as well.
Yeah, all the hashtags are very important. I know that. Well, before we move forward with little tips that you're going to give still, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Frank. You were born in South Africa, weren't you?
Yeah, I was born in South Africa in a mining village, grew up in a little mine. My dad was a miner. I'd go underground for 2 hours every day. And we lived a very simple lifestyle. If things didn't change, I would be a miner in a gold mining village right now. But we had a sinkhole there. We had to leave the village at 4 in the morning, left all of our clothes, our possessions. I grew up pretty poor. Our family didn't have much money. But at 48, my dad decided to start his own business, which was very successful. And we always grew up a very close family, lots of love in the house. My mom was a music teacher, so we always had music. As you can see, my love for music.
Yes, I see your drum behind you.
That's my percussion set. That's my electric drum set. Down on the side, I've got my 3 guitars. I've got my 2 saxophones. So music has always been part of my life. In fact, when I left school, I became a professional drummer, and I did that for 8 years, which was fantastic. Didn't make much money, but the fringe benefits were fantastic. I had a great time.
I remember you showing us a photo of yourself when you were younger with long hair and a beard.
Hair down on my shoulders, big beard. Those were the days. I think I married and needed to find a job because I've always been a bit of a maverick, a bit of a loner. I always break the rules. You know that, Christine. I've never been one to sort of fit into society. And the job that suited me was going into sales, selling financial services. I did amazingly well at it. My wife and I bought and sold a lot of businesses. 1993, moved over to London, started a business, sold it 4 years later, and then went into speaking. And I've now spoken in 69 countries. About 10 years ago, started up another financial services company, which we sold 2 years ago. And right now, just enjoying life. Speaking has been really good for me. I have 3 homes. I have a home I've just bought across the road from the beach in Norfolk. I've got a home in Orlando, and I've got a home in Spain. I drive lovely cars. 2 years ago, I bought my dream car. I bought a Bentley, which I've always wanted my whole life. So I say to everybody, have dreams and make your dreams come true, and enjoy every day, because with COVID, you just don't know how long you're still going to be there. So you've got to have passion. You've got to love exactly what you're doing.
I know that. Yeah. Well, I just lost my dad from COVID on March 12th. So I know what it's like, to lose people you love then from this really stupid illness and virus. But we have to get things out of it. I mean, you have to still stay positive. So getting back on the tips that you can give us, how did you turn into a social media ninja?
Well, the thing is, I always did well at sales. When I came to England, I was amongst the top 5 salespeople in the whole of England within 2 years. So people started asking me to come and speak at conferences. And then I went around the world speaking on sales. But then I also realized that sales was changing, and that social media has such a massive impact on sales. Social media, in fact, drives people to the website, and that's what drives the sale now. So I thought, let me get into all of the social media stuff, and I just immersed myself into it. As soon as YouTube opened, I got my own channel. I now have over 1,000 videos on that channel. I went on to Facebook, and Facebook was okay, but it depends on your kind of business. I think if you're an artist or something visual, then Facebook and Instagram works. Being a speaker doesn't really work for me, so I tend not to do too much on Facebook or Instagram. My main channels are LinkedIn and YouTube. And of course, with video, there are all of the other channels as well. If you're going to be making videos and put it onto YouTube, put it onto Vimeo, put it onto Dailymotion, put it onto every other channel, and then, of course, upload it to Facebook, to TikTok, to every other channel where you can put the videos in. So I've always said, create once and share everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. And you're also an author, Walking with Tigers, right? That's
Absolutely.
I do have your book. I remember the first time we met at a conference at the National Speakers Association in 2009. That's been a while. Oh, man.
Giving away our age.
No, I mean, we're still looking very young and sexy, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, I've just got this old body, but inside lives a 25-year-old wild man, But yes, I remember that. That was fantastic. And since then, we've become great friends. In fact, I've often gone and stayed at your place, your beautiful place in France. You've come over and stayed at my place. You've been on my speakers boot camp programs. I've been over, done some programs with you in France. So yeah, it's really great connecting. And I think that's what it is people working together, caring and sharing is what's going to get us all through this pandemic.
Yes. Okay. And about YouTube, can you give us a few tips on how to be much more visible on YouTube, on how to create really the great YouTube channel?
Well, one of the big things I see with YouTube, I see companies that spend tens of thousands on videos and they never get seen because they've got some basic problems or things that they're not doing. Always think about Google. Google is scraping, looking for keywords. So if you've got a keyword or the key phrase, like we've looked at LinkedIn, on YouTube, you've got to put that phrase in 3 places. It's got to go into the title, it's got to go into the description, and it's got to go into the tags. The other thing, YouTube, like every other social media channel, if you're going to put up once a month, they're just going to kick you into space. You're never going to be seen. What they want to do is promote the regular kind of people. So again, with YouTube, have videos going up at least 3 or 4 times a week for, that Google owns YouTube, and for them to say, okay, listen, this person's really involved. They're getting a lot of traction here. Let's promote them. If you're doing it once in a while, they don't really care about you.
This video is going to go on YouTube anyway.
Absolutely. And once we get all the keywords right, it works fantastically. So for search engine optimization, it's amazing. Some of the other things you've got to do on YouTube is you've got to make sure it's going into the right playlists. And another big thing that you have to do is create end screens. Because what happens now, YouTube is an advertising channel. If you've got tens of thousands of views, halfway through, they're going to put adverts on. At the end of it, they're going to put adverts on. At the end of your video, they're going to put somebody else's video on to watch. So what you got to do at the end of your video is create an end screen that says to people, click here to watch one of my other videos, or click here to subscribe to my channel, or click here to go into my main channel. So you want them to stay with you. You don't want them to escape from your video when you're doing that. Just simple, basic stuff that you've got to be doing. In fact, Christine, I'm busy writing a book on video and YouTube marketing right now, an ebook, and it'll be ready in about a month's time. And I'm going to make it free for everybody. My other book became a bestseller, but that was published. I just thought I want to share all of these ideas. So again, anyone listening to this, drop me an email, frank@frankfurness.com, and say, I want to be on your waiting list. I want to receive your free ebook when it comes out, because there will be a ton of tips in that ebook.
Yeah, and I also remember you also set up many DVDs, on how to become a famous worldwide speaker. I bought those when I attended your courses, I remember.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is everybody has got greatness that they can share. And so I had in fact, I had 23 different DVD courses that were out there. The one for speakers, I think, was 15 CDs. And what I've done now is I've turned these into online courses. In fact, if you want to take a look, go to Productivity Center, CENTRE.com, Productivity Center. You'll see 9 of the courses I've put up there. One of them I do is called Life in Tune with Social Media. And my partner in that is a guy called Freddie Ravel. He was the keyboard player for Earth, Wind and Fire. He played for Santana. In fact, he was the musical director for Jimmy Osmond. You just told me that the other day. He's worked with Prince, Madonna, Grammy Award nominee. So that's one of the courses we put together, which is amazing. But I've put other courses together, like on LinkedIn, on YouTube. In fact, I put one course together on how to sell in the COVID, working from home, because we have to learn how to sell differently. We have to learn, how do we prospect? How do we connect? How do we actually sell online? And you and I were speaking earlier, it's a whole different way of selling.
Yeah.
So we've got to learn.
Well, what kind of tips could you give to our listeners, who are game changers? What should they change in the way they speak online? Because a lot of people are speakers. Well, they are speaking, on large groups, in real real large groups. And what are the tips you could give us to online speaking?
So for online speaking, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to know who your target audience is. And then you've got to go out and let that target audience know who you are on LinkedIn and YouTube, and stay in contact with them. And really, it's building your tribe, building your list so you can be in front of all of those people. I did just 4 to 5 months ago, I put out one of my posts, and a company that I'd spoken for in Dubai 10 years ago said, wow, we'd forgotten about you. Can you run an online program for our sales team? I ran that. They've now come back this month saying, we've got a new product launch. We want you to train our sales team. I'm busy with that right now. This week, that's what I'm busy with. And then they've come back and said, oh, we've got another sales team in Mauritius. Can you work with them next month? So first idea is you've got to find out who's your target audience, and then you've got to just focus on that audience. And again, that comes back to social media, because every post that I do is aimed at a certain audience, and everyone has an outcome, every post. So I do a lot for speakers, I do a lot for CEOs, and I do a lot for financial advisors. So I've put an online course together for financial advisors. It sells from $495 to $3,000. But the way I drive traffic there is by putting posts on, and people come on there. That drives them, and they then go and buy that. So as a speaker, you've got to get online courses. I use Kajabi as a platform, which is amazing. You've got to recreate yourself.
Yes, Kajabi. Yeah, you use Kajabi.
I use Kajabi. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Bloody difficult. It took me ages to learn how to use it, but once you've mastered it, it's fantastic. The other thing you've got to do is you've got to go back to all of your existing clients. We've all got so many clients, and just say to them, listen, we're online now. I'm sure your sales team are doing things differently. They're selling differently. They're doing different customer services because it's all online. Let me see if I can help you and put a course together for your company online on either leadership or sales or social media, or whatever it is that you specialize in speaking on. Go in and put an online course together. Now, the old days of doing a keynote was fantastic. We'd make a lot of money. We'd get onto stage, but I think it's going to take at least a year before we get back there again. I did
probably even more, and people are getting used to speaking online and to getting courses online and to work from home. I think for many people, working from home is really convenient, isn't it?
Well, not only for us working from home, but for the employees now. So one of my clients that used to fly me out to Dubai, used to fly me out all over the world, is saying, listen, I don't have to fly all my salespeople out. I don't have the hotel costs. I don't have the meal costs. I don't have your flights. All I can do is they can sit at home. You come online with Zoom. This is my budget. I'm saving an absolute fortune by all of that. We're still getting exactly the same content, whether you are on stage or whether you're sitting in front of Zoom.
That's
you're getting
right.
exactly the same value. It's just a different way of doing it. And if we can get that message out there to all of our clients saying, listen, you are saving thousands. I haven't changed. I'm still giving you the great, fantastic content that you can use.
That's right. And also things that I say to speakers as well is use your voice. Change your voice when you speak online. You have to speak just like you speak. You know, la 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 la. This is really something that a lot of people are missing. You know, they are so dull. And if you're dull and if you don't do polls and questions and things like that, then you're not really interesting.
No, you've got to vary it. You've got to change it. I mean, with Zoom, there's so much we can use with the polls, the chats, all kinds of stuff. In fact, that's what I'm doing with a sales team that are doing a launch, because also they are pretty boring. And we as speakers, we're pretty good. But if you work with the general public and they're boring offline, when they get onto Zoom, they're even more boring. So it's getting that excitement. A lot of them don't even know how to use the technology, how to bring in PowerPoint or Keynote and do those kinds of. So that's another area where you can be training.
Let me share something with you. I don't know if you know them. I have coached a guy named Vincent Bruno, and he has a tool named SparkUp. Just like, you type it SparkUp, and it's an online thing where you can have actually thousands of people who can interact with their emotions online directly. Wow. And another man whose name is Ben Morsham, he's based in Toronto, and he has have a look at what he does. he's actually grabbing people's emotion from the face.
Wow.
You know, and
Yes.
that's tools that we will need for large groups. You know, he's working for very large pharmaceutical groups who more than 5,000 people online listen to what he does. And that, you know, that's the key. I think we need to interact more. We need to have a more well, interactivity and more games, you know, just like make it just like a game to people.
And I also like to put in videos. I like to mix it up a little bit. And most of the time, if I'm doing any PowerPoint, I come out and I look into their eyes. And that's the other big mistake people make. They don't look at the camera. They're looking all over at everything else.
That's true.
Like if you're speaking to the audience, you're not looking at your shoes or you're looking at your computer screen. You're looking at the
like
audience.
This at the audience. Yeah.
and it's just something you've got to train yourself to do. But also, like you said, your voice, you've got to be exciting. I almost imagine there's a big audience out there in front of me listening to me. You've got to put yourself into that position. Otherwise, you can sound very boring. And
and also wear things that are, you know, nice and bright colors and warm colors. And, you know, this is people tend to forget this when they speak online. They speak in pajamas, you know.
Yes. And most of the time, if I'm doing any presentation online, I pop up a green screen and I put a beautiful background of an office there. So it looks professional. Right now, I just wanted to show you all my drum kit and what it looks like. But if I'm doing a professional presentation, that would never be the background. I've got a good professional background. Other simple things like you've got to have good lighting. If I take this off here, you can see my office. I have one light there. I have another light there. Get yourself a good microphone.
Yeah.
That is a €800 microphone over there. That's my professional mixer over there. So if we're a professional speaker and we've got to go online, everything else has to be professional.
I do have also professional lights. You see, they're just like daylight. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, if I switch off my lights now, it's just you can see the difference.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. It's just crazy. So
that's a big thing when people forget to enlighten themselves, because then when they don't enlighten themselves, then it also sounds and looks dull.
Yes, and get a good microphone. I mean, this is the best money I've ever spent. I've had this microphone for years because I used to record all my courses on it. But you can it sounds fantastic. Last week when I was doing a live presentation, I was on my laptop and I was saying to them, do you know how bad it sounds when you record something on a laptop? And we recorded something and it sounded terrible because you got all of the whirring noises, you got all of the background noises. So first thing, get yourself great lights, get yourself a great microphone and get yourself energized. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's been really a fantastic time together. Thank you so much, Frank Furness, for being with us today in the Voices of Change show, which is, you know, for people who make a change. And I really think you do make a change, Frank. And it's been an honor for me to have you on my podcast. Thank you very much. And
thanks so much, Christine.
Tell us again where we can reach out to you.
So anything you need, if you want to get my new ebook, it's frank@frankfurness.com. By the way, take a look at my brand new website. That's a new thing you got to do. I've taken a year out to update it. So frankfurness.com. Take a look at my products, which is productivitycenter.com. And then again, look at my YouTube channel, which is Sales Tips, SALESTIPS. And follow me on LinkedIn. Frank Furness.
Yes. On LinkedIn, I'm sure these folks will find everything that you just mentioned, right?
Absolutely. Everything is there.
Everything is there on LinkedIn. So thanks again for being with us today. And dear listeners and dear listener, talk to you another time. Hey, bye.
Cheers.